Doesn't sound like I'm all weird. Anyway, all right. Okay, so I did some. I've got to learn the TDD, test-driven development, and yeah. So I did some research prior to this, and I'm trying to crash course learn and get comfortable with TDD. I know that it's pretty basic. You know, you just write your tests, and you write the test first, and then you write the code based on the test. So, and honestly, I haven't written Python in a minute. So, a minute being like, I don't know, a month, 2 months, 3 months, something like that. It's been a little bit, so I'm a little rusty, but we're gonna see what happens. I may make a huge fool of myself. If I do, fuck it. If I don't, whatever. I don't know. Anyway, let's get to it. I gotta figure out what I'm gonna start making to do the whole TDD thing. Let's see. Oh man, I got desktop audio on. Let me see. Turn that off. You don't need to hear me talking twice. That's ridiculous. Camera, mic. Okay. Everything's good. Everything's good. Let me move this down. Alright, coolio. I don't need to be watching this stream as it's happening. Yeah, don't need to do that. And I guess we're doing pretty Gucci. Okay. Alright. This is my ID. So we want to create a file. I guess I'll create a main.py file, whatever that's going to be, don't know. Wrong thing. No! What are you doing, Triston? Click there. And we're going to do test main.py. Like that. Boom. Now, there's a module called, what's it called? Unit test. That's it. Alright. And we also want to make sure that when I run this file, it runs the unit test module to that stuff, whatever I'm trying to say. Anyway, let's see if I want to say underscore name, if name equals underscore main, boom, like so. And then we want to unit test dot main and call that. I think that's what I gotta do. Pretty sure that's what I do. Okay. So if I run this, boom! Look at that. Works. Awesome. So let's clear that. Now, what do we want to make? What do we want to make? Let me turn on my cam here so you can see my face. Let me unlock it. Let me shrink it down quite a bit, because you don't need to see me that much. Alright, cool. Cool. I could probably make it even tinier. Look at that. It's so tiny. I mean, do you really need to see my face? That big? I don't think so. I think me being a little tiny like that is okay. Okay. Alright, so let's see, what can we do? I mean, we can make whatever we want to make. Why not make a player with a name and an age, a region, a inventory. Let's do that. So we want to say class, and it looked like there was a thing here. Class test player. We'll delete that. Let's see. We want to, what's it called? There's a, what's it called? Def set? No. Start. I think it starts with an S. No. thought it was like setup or something like that. Setup. Pretty sure it's setup. Pass. Def. Test. Player. What? Created? Test player created. Self. If you see me like keep looking down, I'm looking around this mic because it's like right in my face. Oh, there we go. I can do that. Okay. Test player created self. Pass. I think with TDD I'm supposed to like just keep checking things. I don't know. So the setup we want to let me just make sure everything's kind of working. Alright, so we could do self dot. Oh, wait a second. One thing I forgot. I remember now. This has to say unit test dot test case, I think. Yeah, and then self dot assert equal, and then I'll just say 1 and then see if. Okay, so it's showing 1. Let me 1 0 save. Okay, cool. Fail. Awesome. So everything's working. So I'm gonna make this. I'm gonna pass this again. Pass. Okay. So in the setup, I'm pretty sure that's how that is. In the set, I can actually probably check. Let me see. Def setup. Okay. Yeah. So I had to inherit from unit test.test case in order to get that setup thing there. So setup, we want to say self dot player equals player, and then we're gonna give it, well, what do we say, name. So we'll just give it my name, Triston, age 24, region Thailand, and then inventory, we'll leave that blank. What I'll most likely do is the inventory will have like a default empty in the player thing here. So, and I think there I can say def. I'm not entirely sure how this works, but I know there's like a destroy or something. Drop, no. Let me see. Let me get rid of this because I don't want to that confuse my thing. So it's setup and then no et tear down. That's what it's called. Tear down self. Tear down self. Boom. And I think if I say self.player, I don't really know how to do the teardown thing. I think I just set it to none, I think. And then a test case will run, and then it'll create a new me with. You know what? Actually, I'm not going to use the teardown, because if I add something to the inventory, whenever I go to, say, if I want to remove something from the inventory, I don't want to have to re-add everything to the inventory again. So I'll just let that kind of persist across the tests. Alright, so setup, set player, that's going to fail because we don't have a player yet. Test player created self, we want to say self dot assert equal self dot player dot name is equal to Triston. And because we know we have a player, we got a name, we have an age, we have a region, and we have an inventory, or we're gonna have an inventory. We don't have this stuff yet, but we're gonna have it. So I can go ahead and make these. I don't think that would go against the whole TDD thing because I'm still writing tests. So this would be, Jesus, if I could type, age. This would be Thailand, and this would be region, and then this would be set equal. I think I have to do the length of the inventory. So it's gonna have an inventory, and then this should equal 0. So all of these should fail. Actually, I should get a error first before fail. Yeah, see right here, error. Boom, player's not created. So we're gonna have to create a player. So let's do player.py. Alright, in here we're gonna say class player. Boom. Def init self. It had a name, age, region, and inventory. Inventory was empty. And then self.name equals name. This is all the boring stuff. Self.age equals age. Self.region equals region. Self.inventory equals inventory. Bada bing, bada boom. Alright. So we got that. Now we want to import. So I think it's from player import player. I think is how that works. And then let's save it, see what happens. No errors. Let's run it. Oh, yee. Now this, let's see, this shouldn't be equal. If I say Thailand's, it should fail. Oh, look at that. Thailand does not equal Thailand's. Beautiful, beautiful. So that's working. Okay, so this is kind of, from my understanding, this is the core of TDD. You write the test. As you're writing the test, you see, oh man, I don't have a player. I need a player. So in order, this test failed. Obviously, it's going to fail. Now I can go create a player class and, you know, add what I need to add to make that test pass. So actually, to be honest, I got an error in setup, and I needed to fix that error in order for these to pass. So I didn't check to see if this failed first. I don't really know if that matters, but you see I changed it to S, and obviously it failed. So hey, that worked. So we're gonna keep going. So we created a player with a name, an age, a region, and an inventory. Now, most common thing, what are we going to do next? We're going to create a we're going to try to add to the inventory. So it's hard because my first instinct is like, okay, I need to go add a function to the player class or a method to the player class and make it so that I can add to the inventory. But I have to kind of rewire my my way of thinking to the TDD way of thinking. So as I was talking to you, that's the first thing that popped in my mind. I was like, okay, let me go do that. But I actually have to do this whole testing thing first. So I'm gonna go back to the screen and we are going to do that. Okay, we want to test. Oh, and with, well, I mean, I'm doing this. The TDD that the reason I'm learning the TDD is, let me switch back to my face real quick, is because there's this position that I applied to, and I have a technical assessment in a day, and I'm having to crash course this TDD stuff. But it's in a whole different language. It's in Ruby, and I can teach myself Ruby. That's no problem. And I can teach myself TDD, and I can teach myself whatever I need to teach myself to, you know, do the work that I got to do on the job that I'm on, whatever. That's no problem. But teaching myself fast enough to the point where I can pass a technical assessment over this TDD stuff, that's where the challenge comes in. So I'm trying to get comfortable and get familiar with all this stuff so that I can pass and I look decent enough for someone to want to actually pay me. So yeah, that's the whole purpose behind all this. I could fail miserably. I don't know. We'll see what happens. Let's go back here. in Python, I don't know about Ruby, but in Python, you have to put test in the front, or unit test will just completely skip it. Test add to inventory self. Don't ask me about the naming conventions. I have no idea. Add to inventory. Okay. So right now our inventory is empty. So we want to make sure our inventory is empty. Assert equal. We'll say len self dot player dot inventory should be equal to 0. We already did that up there. I could have just copied that. So wait, if we already did that on player created, if it wasn't equal, it would have failed. So I actually don't even need this, because this one would have failed if it wasn't empty. Okay, so we know that it's 0. Now we want to what do we want to do? We want to add an item to the inventory, whatever that's going to be, a weapon or something. We can get into the whole inheritance thing later. So off the top of my head, I'm thinking the item, there's going to be different types of items, like a food, consumable, stuff like that. But for right now, we're just going to do item. So let's see, test add to inventory. Self dot player dot add item. I don't know. Add item, and then I know we need to create an item. So let's create a blade. No, let's create a machete. And let's give it a damage. Whatever, who cares? Alright, so add item, machete, 25. We know that's not going to work because we don't have an item class. So but now, before we know that's going to fail. We know it's going to give an error. It's not necessarily going to fail, but we know it's going to give an error. So what I did before was I created a player and I added all of the parts that it needed, like the name, the age, and all that stuff. And then the test immediately passed because I had already wrote it, for that purpose. But this time I'm going to create an item class, and I'm not going to give it a name and a damage, and I'm going to let the test fail first. That way it's sticking to the TDD thing, which is you write a test for it to fail, then you write it to pass, and then you refactor. So that's what we're going to do. And it is hot in here, so if you see my face all sweaty, that's why. It's like 90 degrees in this room. Let's see, self.player.add item, machete 25. Now we want to say self.assert equal, and it's actually going to be the exact same thing as this up here, so I'm just going to copy this down and move it down like that, and then it's going to be 1. Boom. Self.assert equal length of inventory should be 1. So that should work, and this is gonna give an error for 2 reasons. 1, player doesn't have an add item. 2, there's no item class to be able to create an item off of. So first, let's create this add item, because we know this is gonna fail. Well, we know it's gonna give an error. See this E? Error. That means it didn't work. Wait a second, why is that one first? I don't know. Anyway, so let's in main we need to add in wait. Why do I have this main here when I have a player thing? I don't even need main. I created main for what reason? No reason. All right, let's see. What were we doing? Oh yeah, add item. So def add underscore item self, and then it'll be the item object, which can I type, like cast a type to this? Because I know I could do like item int. Can I do like object class object? I like to make sure my types are all. Can I do that? We'll see what happens if I get an error or not. Alright, let's see, item, now add item. Okay, I'm drawing a blank here, but I know what I'm supposed to do. Self.inventory dot append item. Pretty basic maneuver there, dog. Alright, let's try and save this. I shouldn't get this error anymore, but I will get this error. Run it. Now it says item is not defined. Before it said a player object has no attribute add item, so that's what we just fixed. Now we have an error, item is not defined, so now we need to define an item. So we're going to create a new file. We're going to say item.py, and we're going to create a new class. Why don't I just screw it, class item, and def same old. This would be init. This would be self pass. Now that should fix this. So now I shouldn't get an error, I don't think, unless it's going to throw an error on these. Undefined variable item. Oh, duh. I gotta say from item import item, like so. Now save it. Now I shouldn't get an error. If I do, it's because of these. Too many possible arguments for constructor call. Okay, so item, so I can pass in arguments, but I don't necessarily have to do anything with them, I guess. DMG save test main.py. Did I save it? See what happens. Am I gonna get an error? I'm not gonna get an error. Awesome. Alright, now let's test it. See what happens. Failed. 1 does not equal 0. 1 does not equal 0. Why did it say that? Line 13 in test player created. Interesting. So it seems like it ran this one first. Fail test player created. And look, there's a pass and there's a fail. And it's saying that the inventory has an item in there. So it ran this one first. So I want to keep all the names and stuff. Well, it's going to do that. Okay. Yeah. So it's going to create Triston, all that stuff. So I can do the teardown. And I can say self.player equals none, I think. And that should fix that problem. But it's still going to give me, it's still going to fail because I'm not adding anything in here. Oh wait, let's see, 0. Oh yeah, I did add an item. Okay, so it should pass then. Failed. In test player created inventory. What did I do wrong? Inventory equals 0. Self.inventory equals inventory. 1 does not equal 0. Self.player.inventory. Tear down. Self.player equals none. Am I doing that wrong? Test player created. See if we can debug this. Line 16 in test player created. Self.assert equal inventory 0. Assertion error 1 does not equal 0. Ran 2 tests. Line 16. It's this one, but it should be. Let me check something. Print player created, and then print add to inventory. Save that, run it again. Look, add to inventory, player created. Interesting. So it's running add to inventory first. Does it normally do that? What if I add this shouldn't matter because I defaulted it. Yeah, see, shouldn't matter. Wait, ran 2 tests okay. What? Huh. Interesting. Let me get rid of these prints because they're kind of cluttering that up. Ran 2 tests. Okay. So it must have been this. Huh. Interesting. Interesting. I don't know why it did that, but I ain't complaining. It fixed it. So hey, debug success in my book. All right. So we created an item, but the item doesn't have a name or a damage. How do I know? Because I can say print self.player.inventory o.name, and it's gonna say, what you mean name, man? There ain't no name there. Item object has no attribute name. Yeah, see, I told you, man. Now we need to self.name equals name and self.dmg equals dmg. Save, and that's going to do the same thing, but I can actually do this and it will print machete. It prints the machete, man. Alright, so test add to inventory. Why don't we test self.assert equal? Why don't we test for the name of that? So the name should be machete. Alright. Ran 2 tests okay. Ran 2 tests okay. Alright, so we added one. It's one. I mean, we can add another test, but we know it's working. So there's really no point in doing that. Now, we've added an item. Now we want to delete the item. Okay? The only thing is we're going to have to add the item again in the delete function, I believe, because the teardown is tearing it down. I should be able to say, like in here, if I say print self dot we'll just assume we know it's tearing it down. That's the whole purpose of that. I don't want to go trying to figure all that stuff out. Let's see, def test remove from, or we'll just say remove item self. So we're gonna have a remove item method. Why don't we say remove inventory item like that, and then self.player.remove inventory item, self.player.remove inventory item. And I guess we're going to remove by name, so we're going to pass in a name there. We're going to have to add an item, so and then we're going to check the length, and then we're going to check to make sure that the item name is the item name. Actually no, we're not going to do that. Actually, yeah, let's check the length. But let's add 2 items. So we're going to add a machete. Not a machete. We're going to add a bat with a damage of 10. And we're going to add a, I don't know, a spoon. Why not? Spoon with a damage of dose. Alright, so now the length of the inventory should be 2, and we're just going to make sure that that's working properly, which it should, because of that. So let's run. 3 tests passed. Perfect. Now we want to remove. So player.remove inventory item. We're going to remove the bat, and then we're going to assert equal. That actually I'll just copy and paste, doing everything the long way. And then we're going to remove then we're going to remove again and then check again, but we're going to remove spoon, and then after we remove spoon it should be 0. This should be 1. Self.assert equal player.remove inventory item bat. Alright, so now it should fail. Okay. Run. Alright. Player object has no attribute. Remove inventory item. Remove inventory item. Alright, so now we need to go to player. We need to add this. Def. Remove inventory item. Self. Item name. Alright. So, all we have is an item name, and we have a list of items. We want to remove the item from the array. So we will say for, we have a snippet here, for item, actually we'll have to say item, enumerate self.inventory, and then if JavaScript, if item dot name is item name, then self.inventory.pop, and then you see pop takes the index. That's why I added the I and enumerated the list. Pop I, just like so, and so that should be right, I believe. I wonder if we should return the item name. Return item.name. Should we do that? Let's see. Alright. So we got this test. So let's save it. So now we have this remove inventory item thing. Let's run it and see what happens. Boom! Everything works. But I want to make sure that the item, because it's just popped up in my head as I was writing that. I want to make sure that the item being deleted is the item that I'm trying to delete. Which, I mean, in the code, it seems, yeah, if the item name is item name, then pop. But what if, for example, it's in a game or something, and I wanted to display that item to the user? Then you just get the item name back, and then do what you want with it. So I think I can do, instead of doing this, I think I can do, let's see, self.assert equal self.remove item bat, and it should return bat, I believe. And then because I called this, that should work, I think. Let's see. Okay, everything's passed. Now if I say bats, or bata, whatever, that should fail. Awesome. Bat does not equal bata. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Alright, cool. And then we can do the same thing for spoon. I think it's Control K to delete a line. Nope, it's not. Shift K, Control Shift K, that's it. Alright, this will be spoon. And this will be spoons. I know it's gonna work, I'm just doing that just to be on the safe side. Spoons and spoons. Perfect, save. And things trapped in my mouse. Boom, ran 3 tests. Okay. Awesome, 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 awesome. So that worked. Remove inventory item self. So added an inventory item, removed an inventory item. Now we want to, let's see, what do we want to do? What should we do? What should we do? We can create more items based on this item. So it'd have a name, damage. I mean, we can say class, what kind of item? Consumable. Consumable. And then this will just be inherit from item. Def init. Self, I believe I have to add name and damage also, and then as well as HP, I guess, would be it's consumable. It gives you health, I guess. And then I think there's a super thing, and I think I have to pass in self, and then dot init. And then name DMG. I mean, it already has it kind of right there, but I'm pretty sure that's what I got to do. And then I would say self.hp equals HP. Like that. I believe that's right. Self.hp equals HP. And then now we can test pick or add consumable. Actually, we can test add to inventory. So self, so yeah, self.player add item, and then this will be not item, it'll be what do I call it, consumable. Consumable. And then this is supposed to be a capital C, like so. And then I gotta import. Can I import multiple things? Item consumable. Why is this not a capital I? How is this even working? Oh. Item consumable. I think I can do that. Pretty sure. Alright. Oh no. I just did what I wasn't supposed to do. I went and wrote the consumable first before I wrote the test for it. And that's opposite of what I'm supposed to do. So I need to delete this consumable. That's opposite of what I'm supposed to do. I need to delete this import. Okay. Man, I can't believe I did that. Let me add a comment here and say add consumable. Add item. I can't believe I did that. That's crazy. That's how easy it is to just get away from the whole TDD kind of mindset. Let's see, self.player.add item consumable. I want to be able to add a consumable. The name is going to be banana. Banana. The damage is going to be 0. What did I just do? Damage is going to be 0, and the HP is going to be 10. Just like that. Self.player.add item consumable banana, B-A-N-A-N-A. Boom. Now I should be able to say self dot assert equal self.assert equal I should probably do the same thing with the add and have it return the name of what it is, so that way I can check that it's the same. But I mean it's pretty basic though. If I'm adding it, of course it's gonna have the same name if I'm returning the exact same thing I just sent. So yeah, that don't make any sense. So we can just check that length increased by 1. Self.assert equal the length of self.player.inventory, and it should be 1, I believe. Nope, should be 2. Should be dose. And I guess I could do the same thing I did here. Let's see. Add item consumable banana self.assert equal length, and then let's copy this down and move this down, and this will be at the first index. The name is banana, and we will actually copy this down, and then we will do make sure that the HP is there. HP, and that should be an astounding 10. Boom. Perfect. Alright, so add consumable. Add item consumable banana 010. Assert equal length self.player.inventory is 2. So now there's 2 items in there. And then we want to make sure the name of the second item is banana, and then we want to make sure the HP is 10. Should be passing the information, but this is TDD, so we gotta test everything. I don't know. Okay. Alright, let's Control K S, save everything. Let's run this. Error. What's the error? Add item consumable banana name consumable is not defined. So let's go to item. Now let's create a class. This is something familiar because we already did this. Consumable. Probably spelling that wrong. Who cares? I'm not a English teacher. Init self name DMG HP. And then super self, I think, dot init, name DMG. Correct me if I'm wrong. Not entirely sure. Have I already been doing this for an hour? Jesus Christ. Okay. DMG and self dot HP equals HP. This is going to be the last thing I do, and then I'm going to call it because I think I got a pretty good understanding of this whole TDD thing. After this, I'm going to crash course Ruby because I got to learn some Ruby if I'm going to impress. Maybe. I don't know. We'll see. I'm going to embarrass myself. I already know it. Anyway, okay, so let's see. Self.HP equals HP. We actually don't want to do that yet. We just want to get that error to go away. So let's save it. Consumable shouldn't get an error, and run it. Boom. Failed. Consumable is not defined. That's because I didn't import it. So consumable. Boom. Now let's run it again. Consumable object has no attribute name. Dot name player, not player, item does have a name. You know why? Because I didn't set it. Because you gotta say super, like I just did 5 times. Self dot init, and then Jesus Christ, name DMG, just like that, and I give it a health, it's gonna crash if I don't give it a self.hp equals HP like I just did. So I literally just repeated myself for no reason, but it's okay. Ran 3 tests. Super argument 1 must be a type, not consumable. So do I not do self? Do I not have to do that? Let's see. Super. Yeet yeet, bada bing, bada boom, everything passed. If I say bananas, should fail. Yeah, look at that boy. Look at that boy. Alright, so using test-driven development that I just learned today, super basic concept. I'm sure there's a lot more to it than I've kind of discovered, but that seems to be pretty much it. You just stay, let me switch back to my face real quick. You just stay pretty solid with the creating the tests first, and then creating the code, writing the code. That's the hard part, really. I mean, from what I've understood, I've watched some videos on TDD, and that's pretty much what everybody's teaching. Some people said that there's a lot more to TDD that you can get into, but I mean, that seems like the kind of stuff you learn on the job. You know, you run into an issue and then you're just like, oh, I got to do this. So you Google it. Oh, this is how you do it, and then you implement it. Now you know it, or at least now you know the fundamentals of it. And then next time you Google it again, it just kind of clicks to you, and that seems like the majority of development. So I got snippy. Let's see. Takeaways. TDD. Write your tests first. Design the way it's supposed to be through tests, and then write your code to satisfy your tests. That seems to be the main kind of takeaway that I've understood from watching the videos and reading these little things here and there and stuff. And yeah, so TDD, object-oriented programming, that's all pretty basic. You got inheritance, you got all this stuff. I think I'm pretty good. I think I'm doing pretty good. Just running around, all this stuff at the top of my head. Now, don't get me wrong. I have one player. You know, I have just 2 item types. I mean, I've got a small amount of tests. This is nothing compared to production level stuff, but it's the basics. It's the fundamentals. It's, you know, the building blocks to making something bigger. You just got to put more time under it. I've done this for what, an hour? I think I've been doing this live stream. Not even an hour. 50 minutes almost. So yeah, it's not too hard. I just started learning this today, this TDD stuff, and to be honest, I haven't really written many tests in my development career. Yeah, I haven't really written any tests at all, really. So to be able to go from not really writing any tests to studying for a couple hours in the morning and then going straight to writing, you know, the tests and stuff like that, just off the top of my head without looking at anything. I mean, you can't get easier than that. Development is so simple. It's just Googling, man. Just Google everything. You Google everything, you're able to kind of, critical thinking and all that stuff, then you can pretty much do anything. I built a whole video chat application in 3 days without knowing anything about how to do it. I didn't know anything about networking. I didn't know anything about the WebSockets. I didn't know any of that stuff, and I built it in 3 days, which is probably even long. I mean, I had kids I had to watch and stuff, but I had to watch. I have 2 daughters that I had to take care of, so I mean that kind of takes away from the time I'm able to put into building the video chat application. So it's not like I'm some college kid who's up all night, up all day, sleeping for 2 hours working on this thing. I mean, I worked on it for a few hours at a time, and I was still able to do it in 3 days. Development development's so easy as long as you can get in and learn it, you know. It's like, and it's crazy because you have these, you know, HR people and, you know, these companies that are like, man, we gotta have the best of the best that are already the best, and it's like, I mean, everybody's got to learn, and it's always learning. You're always learning, and it's just, I don't know. I may be just talking out of my ass right now, but who cares? I don't care. It's easy. TDD is easy, from what I've understood so far. I know it gets a lot more complex than just, hey, does this thing have the same name as it did before? You know, I know that it's more than just that, and there's a lot more to it. And when you get, you know, into more logical, you know, stuff, I'm sure it gets real hard and it gets real complicating and stuff, but for someone to say, hey, do you know TDD? Do you know what that is? Can you write tests and, you know, write code based on those tests? It's like, oh yeah, I can. That's simple. It's not too bad. Really, it's just you start off with, what do I want this function to do? What do I want this thing to do? Oh, I want it to return this type of value or this value, and then you just write it and make it do that. And then you cover your base cases, and then, you know, you just all your edge cases and all this other stuff, and there's nothing to it, man. But now I gotta go learn some Ruby. That's gonna take a lot longer, but hey, gotta do what we gotta do for that cheddar cheese. Alright, so yeah, I'm gonna close this stream, end it here. Probably made an ass of myself, probably look like an idiot. Probably look like your typical, I don't know. Development's difficult, okay? I don't want to look like I'm all arrogant and stuff, like I'm some amazing developer. I'm garbage. I'm terrible. I'm the worst developer there probably ever was. That's how I feel about myself anyway, whether people tell me that or not, or tell me the opposite or whatever. But I'm just saying, TDD, writing tests, it's easy. Writing tests is easy. The hard part was coming up with what I'm going to write this stuff about. A player. Build a player. Give it an item. The item will have a name. Like, that stuff is kind of difficult because it requires creativity. But if someone comes to me with like a wireframe of what they want, like, oh, we need a player. The player needs to have a name. The player needs this. The player needs that. The player needs to be able to do this, that. Then, dude, this job would have been so butter, bro. I would have been able to just go in there, write all kinds of junk, and I would have been Gucci. But I had to come up with the old noggin, and that's where it kind of slowed down a little bit. But development is easy. It's easy to learn if you have a logical mindset. It's easy to learn if you can teach yourself. It's easy to learn if you can dedicate yourself and stay consistent with something. Anything's easy to learn if that's the case. But if anyone sees this and they get to this point in the video, which I doubt anyone will, take away with this, even if it's HR watching for some god awful reason, it doesn't take 2 years to learn how to write a test. You know, it doesn't take 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14 years to learn how to write code. And then so many companies and so many people are like, oh my god, man, you don't have 2 years under your belt of this stuff, you don't have 5 years under your belt of this stuff, you don't have 10 years under your belt of this stuff, sorry, we can't hire you because you're an idiot. No, a college degree doesn't mean that someone's good at writing code. A college degree doesn't mean somebody's a good employee. A college degree doesn't mean that they're going to be looking out for your company. A college degree doesn't mean that they're going to be trying to make you money. It doesn't. It just doesn't. And it's ridiculous. You see so many people getting rejected from these jobs because they don't have a college degree, but they've got all this experience with boot camps and stuff. I mean, if you think about it, a boot camp, you're learning how to write code in a short amount of time, whereas in college it takes you forever. It takes you 2 years, 4 years, whatever, to learn how to do all this stuff. And then at the end of the day, after they graduate, people still come to me and say, man, I wasted so much time in computer science class, man, because I didn't learn jack shit until the very end. And then I really didn't learn anything until I got on the job. And these boot camps are literally designed to teach you everything you need to know for the job, as if it were a job. When I was in Lambda school, I mean, it felt like a job. I mean, it was fun and all, so I mean, I enjoyed it, but it felt like, you know, we had the stand-ups, we had the what's it called, the accountability. We had people, you know, up our asses like, hey, did you get this assignment done? But, you know, it's the same thing. Had to deal with people, had to work with people, had to communicate, had to do all the same stuff that you would, you know, on a job. Whereas you go to college, you're sitting there at a table, okay, A plus B equals C. You know, like, it's just, you're trying to memorize stuff just to pass tests and all this stuff. It's completely, like, it's just ludicrous how people are like, man, sorry, we need that college degree. Whereas these people, I have people with CS degrees that are like, hey man, I want to work on a project with you. I'm like, when I first started doing this, I'm like, why? You have a college degree, I'm barely starting boot camp. And they're like, yeah, but you're already learning stuff that I didn't learn until I got a job. And I'm like, oh well, shit, I'm glad I skipped that whole college thing and went into all that debt for that. How did this turn into a rant? I was learning TDD. How did this turn into a rant? Anyway, I'm out. If you like this kind of stuff, leave a subscribe and what the hell am I saying? Hit the like button, subscribe. I'll be doing more stuff. I don't know. Literally not a single person showed up to this live stream, which doesn't really bother me. I'm surprised by that. But because look at that. Concurrent viewers. 0 likes, 0. But hey, I do this because I enjoy it. And what better way to learn how to do something than to upload it for the public to see, for people to be like, Triston, you're a fucking dumbass, dude. You're not even writing that right. You don't even know Python, dude. You did all this. You didn't even have to do that. I'm just like, well, shit, thanks for telling me. I'll keep that in mind next time. And the thing about that is, the thing about people being so hard on you like that is it sticks in your mind, you know? If you do something so stupid, or what you thought was right, but really it's not, and they correct you about it and say, hey, that's not the way you do it, and you're like, are you serious? And you go look it up, and then you realize, oh shoot, he was right, or she was right, that's not the way I'm supposed to do it. And then it sticks in your mind, and the next time you do it, you think about that and you're like, oh, that's not how you do it like this. So hey, bad criticism is constructive criticism in my eyes. So if you watch this and you get to this point, or you watch it, or you skip to the end, whatever, leave a comment. Let me know what you thought. Let me know what you thought about my coding. Let me know what you thought about what I did. Let me know what you thought about my understanding of TDD. If you know what that is, if you know how to do it, if you're comfortable with it, familiar with it, or you liked it, or you hate it, whatever, leave a comment. Let me know. I'd love to hear from you guys. I know I'm not looking you in the eye. I'm looking at myself on the computer, but whatever. Yeah. All right. Well, peace out. I'll catch you guys in the next one. I know I don't upload a lot because I've been crazy busy. I'll try and upload some more stuff. I may try and uploading me learning Ruby. I don't know. We'll see. No one's probably going to watch this, but whatever. All right. Peace out. Later, alligator. Catch you later. Stopping the stream now. And yeah. Catch you later, guys.